Und Hallöchen zurück bei Final Fantasy XVI, Episode 58. Das ist eine sehr hohe Episodenzahl. Ich glaube, das ist bisher mein längstes Let's Play zum Ausstrahlungszeitpunkt. Vielleicht ist Stranger of Paradise hat schon mehr Folgen.
Stay sharp. We don't know when those bastards will be back.
So. Genau, da gehen wir erstmal. So, wir haben in der letzten Episode ein paar Nebenmissionen angenommen. Gehen jetzt hier erstmal zu Martha.
Clive, we weren't expecting you.
I wasn't expecting to be here, but it seems we still owe you a considerable amount of coin for your help with our rebuilding efforts. And though I doubt it's what you were expecting, we were hoping you'd take this as payment.
A star ruby? I can't accept this. It's worth at least twice what you owe me. More if you can find yourself the right buyer.
Think of the difference as interest.
Interest? If word got out I charged that much, no one would ever borrow from me again. Anyway, why are you the one here asking me about this? I'd have expected Otto. Bit much sending the Lord Marquis out to settle your debts, isn't it? The old goat working himself to death again?
Something like that. Most days I think he's the only reason the hideaway's still standing.
Same as always, eh? Back when the place was nothing but a twinkle in the eye of a recently retired Lord Commander, word is he was the first one Sid reached out to. Probably knew that without his strong arm and level head, the idea would never get off the ground. Sid may have been the face of the hideaway, but Otto's always been the backbone. And when Sid passed away, we were all worried that would be the end of it. That Otto would just give up.
His death was hard on everyone. But it must have hit Otto hardest of all.
But he didn't give up, did he? Quite the opposite, in fact. If I recall, he was the one who nominated you as Sid's replacement, and rallied the rest around you. I reckon what he saw in Sid, he saw in you too. And don't we all? Doesn't hurt that you're half as stubborn and twice as handsome, neither. That, and you keep good company.
I suppose I do.
Suppose now I have to find someone who can actually afford a star ruby.
Was ist denn das hier für ein Brief? Achso, okay, das kenne ich so. Was zu sagen hier? Nö. Okay. Dann müssen wir hier hintergehen. Tatsächlich hier hinten ist das andere Monster von dem Jagdbrett. Das mit Level 45, vor dem ich mich noch ein bisschen drücke. Aber gehen wir erstmal dort das andere machen. Dort ist genau diese weißen Antilopen. So. Ach ja, herrlich, diese klassischen Nebenmissionen. Hier rum. Aua! Dieses Schwein. So. Kriegt er. er halt auf die Fresse. Einfach nicht widerstehen. Wegen 10 Gil. So. Hab heute aber auch wieder ein Kloß am Hals. So, hier ist so eine Antilope, ja. Viele sogar.
We'll find one bigger than that. You hungry, Torgal? Finished.
Boah. Weißen Antilopen erlegt.
Now. Will it be enough, I wonder? I say that answers my question. Which means we owe the lawsmen our thanks. You're just a big puppy, aren't you? A very big puppy. You do know you can take that with you, Torgal. Lady Karen will be relieved to hear you've got your appetite back. Come on, boy.
Oh, mein Süßer. Ja. Wo gehst du her? Ganz ein Feiner. So. Dann haben wir das hier erledigt. Ich könnte natürlich dort hinter gehen jetzt, ne? Also. Aber ich bin halt auch erst Level 36. Nee, ich traue mich nicht. Da traue ich mich noch nicht ran. So, hier. Und dann in Sunbreak der Topf. Hieß das, ne? Der Topf. So, hier. Wo muss ich hin? Hier rein? Okay. So, jetzt kann ich aber schon mal hier.
Do you see anything you like? I do like a customer who knows what he wants.
So.
Citizens are free to come and go as they please. Checkpoint's open to all. You'll find little beyond Northridge, though. When the throne moved south, most with any sense followed.
Waren wir ja lange nicht mehr gewesen.
Did you hear? The gates to Heaven Hall in the Eyrie were breached by someone. Or something. The steward was in town earlier looking for men to come and repair it. But no one was keen to help.
Es gibt hier wahrscheinlich auch viele neue Dialoge.
So the gold owed its luster to the great mother's light. Mark the sighing of the meadows as the day yields to night.
We should find a caravan south. Look, there's still time.
Hallo. So, aber gehen wir einfach mal straight hier hinter.
What am I gonna do without sweet water and oil of talc.
Still no caravan from the Dominion's parfumeries yet, then? Time was there were great coin sacks swinging from every belt in town. Not anymore. Since the capital moved, they're all shriveled to the size of peas.
Ja, stimmt, das war ja so, dass hier wegen dem Kristall, Mutterkristall, die Hauptstadt verlegt wurde.
Seeing as business is scarce these days, the Dame decided we should all learn to read. I only wish she had some smaller books. My arms ache something fierce.
Ja, das ist ein großes Buch.
Milady, I come bearing gifts.
Gifts? Whatever is the occasion. Oh my. Clive, you really have outdone yourself.
Otto asked me to give it to you, to settle the Hideaway's debt with the Veil, and to compensate you for the time it took us to do so.
You disappoint me, Clive. I thought you might finally be warming to me. Tell Otto he can keep his baubles. I tried to tell him as much the first time around. The man owes me nothing, nor does the Hideaway. My contribution to the restoration effort was made freely and willingly. It was the least I could do.
You once told me Sid did you a kindness. I'd like to do the same. Please, accept it. For my sake. And for Otto's. For all of us. For all you've done.
It is rather fetching, isn't it? Very well. Otto is lucky to have you, Clive. I doubt anything could ever replace his son. But you and the others at the Hideaway are the closest thing he has to family.
Otto had a son.
Long ago, yes. Sid told me Otto lost him when he was just a boy, and blamed himself for not being able to stop it. I don't know how it happened, whether there was anything he could have done, but it was clear that it weighed heavily on him.
I didn't know.
How could you have? I doubt anyone did. Besides Sid, I've never met a man more keen to bear his sorrows in stoic silence. An ill habit, given that both have always been surrounded by friends desperate to help them.
I'm beginning to see that. I want to know the stones were delivered. If he's still with us.
Give my regards to Otto, and tell him I do so miss his visits.
What am I going to do without sweet water and oil of talc?
Ich werde aber noch ein bisschen hier rumlaufen und mal gucken, was die Leute so zu sagen haben. Wenn überhaupt noch irgendwelche sind. So viele sind hier gar nicht.
You want a spot on the Dominion walls? You'll need to do better than that!
Wow. Okay, irgendwas haut hier nicht hin. Kämpfen gegen den Unsichtbaren.
What's the point in patrolling? The bands have all followed the coin to Twinside.
Okay, naja gut, dann haben die ja nichts Interessantes zu sagen. Weltkarte, Sunbreak. Ich jetzt wüsste, was Sunbreak wäre. Sunbreak ist doch hier drüben, oder? Nee. Hier unten? Nee, das ist die Wüste. Doch, ist doch hier. Eastpool. Dämmerwald. Naja, ich gehe einfach mal hier hin und hoffe, dass ich der Topf, diesen Ort, dass ich das finde auf der Karte. Stille Ufer, Seidenstrand, Lazarus, Port Isolde. Finnbrück, Amber, Fels, Falkenschrei. Okay. Das Pier vom alten Nesch. Trauerbucht. Das ist das. Aquädukt. Was ist das? Der gebrochene Griff, Cressida, Eastpool, Dämmerwald. Also der Topf habe ich jetzt nirgends gelesen. Ich habe es überlesen. Dann gehe ich erstmal zurück ins Versteck. Da sind jetzt erstmal genug Dinge, die ich machen kann, die ich abgeben kann. So. Gehen wir erstmal hier hin.
I noticed you and Torgal had gone off somewhere. Take him for a walk, did you?
You could say that.
So, Molly's leftovers weren't good enough, eh? That'll teach me for treating you like you're still a pup. All right, no need to shout. Now we know what you're after, I can see about getting some in.
Speaking of which, I brought one for later. Can I leave it with you?
Waisenantilopen-Schenkelknochen. Um an einen noch größeren Schenkelknochen zu gelangen, müsste man wohl einen Behemoth oder einen Curl, einen Bison, einen Minotaurus oder einen Amant Taimai erschlagen. Wenn dieser Knochen Torgals urtümlichen Hunger nicht stillen kann, wird ihn wohl nichts zufriedenstellen.
You can, eh? I'm nice like that. In return, you can thank Tomes for me. The bloody know-it-all.
I was just on my way to see him.
Well, don't just stand there gawping.
Mit Knochen.
I don't know many fleshers who deal in cuts that size. Well, that doesn't mean I don't know some. Watch yourself out
Okay,
there.
so. Muss ich hier nochmal zur Harpokrates. So.
Ah, Clive. Were you able to locate your quarry?
We were indeed, Lawsman. You pointed us in exactly the right direction. And Torgal's been a very happy hound ever since.
Very good, very good.
Lady Karen sends her thanks, by the way, for your part in solving the mystery.
Ah. But that reminds me. After your last visit, I found myself pondering Torgal's talents. Do you recall our conversation concerning Lady Jill's role in Torgal's transformation?
About how she somehow woke the power within him.
Precisely that. A reasonable conclusion, I thought. But one which raised certain questions in my mind. You see, the Fenrir of legend served Shiva and Shiva alone. And while the powers attributed to him are certainly impressive, the records imply they are somewhat different in nature to those you described Torgal as having used.
What are you suggesting?
That Torgal may be the beneficiary of more than one icon's power. Consider that in addition to Lady Jill, he has served as a loyal companion to you, your brother, and even the late Cid. In short, the icons hitherto near at hand, or should I say at paw, have been diverse and plenty, and that number has only grown as the realm's dominance have fallen to your sword. One can but speculate as to how all of this has affected Torgal.
He has seemed more fierce of late.
And if I am not mistaken, he will grow fiercer still. We are fortunate indeed to be able to count him amongst our allies and not our adversaries.
Oh, he's more than an ally. He's a friend.
Auftrag abgeschlossen. Kavals Reißzahn. Selbst ein legendärer König mit einem imposanten Gefolge aus tapferen Rittern und dem Segen des Himmels hätte es fast nicht geschafft, den Krieg zwischen den Völkern zu beenden und Valisthea zu vereinen. Zum Glück hatte er Hilfe von einem fabelhaften Tier, seinem treuen Hund Kaval. Erhöht Torgals Angriffskraft geringfügig. Aha. Cool.
How good it is to see you, Clive. I have a few new notes that might interest you. If you have a question for me, I should be happy to answer it.
Torgal. Clives neuer Gefährte, dem auf Schritt und Tritt folgt. Torgal ist ein Frostwurf und ist mit ähnlichen Kräften wie jenen des legendären Wesens Fenrir gesegnet. In kritischen Situationen nutzt er auch seine übernatürlichen Kräfte, um seine Verbündeten zu verteidigen. Obwohl die Art seiner Verwandlung in seine Fenrir-Gestalt dem Erwachen von Domini ähnelt, greift Torgal nicht auf die Macht einer Esper zurück, sondern auf Spuren des Äthers der Domini, die er in seinem Leben bisher begleitet hat. Clives neuer Getränke. Mehr als ein guter Spieler. Das ist ein seltener Frostwolf. Okay, ja. Die Wunder der Welt. Mithril-Antrieb, die Technologie, deren Hilfe die Enterprise das fortschrittlichste Schiff aller Meere und der Stolz des Verstecks noch nie erreichte Geschwindigkeiten erzielen kann. Der Antrieb wird nicht mit Magie, sondern mit Mithril betrieben, eine Substanz, die aus der Erde des toten Landes gewonnen wird. Normalerweise lässt es sich nur schwer formen und schon gar nicht verbrennen. Unter extrem hohen Temperaturen setzt es jedoch riesige Mengen Energie frei. Um die Hitze auch wieder bändigen zu können, braucht die Erfindung eine dreiteilige aufwendig hergestellte Apparatur namens Wärmeverschubaggregat.
You are always welcome, Clive.
Na gut. Kann ich hier nochmal reden?
Is it business or pleasure?
Nee.
Try not to get yourself killed, eh?
So.
Sorry for the wait, but hopefully you'll agree it was worth it.
You learned something about that sword then?
I did better than that.
So, jetzt ist Trunks hier hochgesprungen auf den Schreibtisch. Hm? Trunks. Hey. Sollst das doch nicht machen, hm? Aber du bist ein Kater und der macht, was er will, ne? Hm? Mein Guter. Komm mal hier zu mir. Hm? Willst du dich auf meinen Schoß legen, hm? Mein Guter, hm? Ja, geht gleich weiter, Leute. Hey Trunks. Ein Süßer.
one you'll find anywhere in Valisthea.
No wonder I couldn't get the same finish on the grinding wheel. One hit and all done, eh? Might not be so bad if all you ever fought were duels. Good luck on the battlefield. Your second opponent would be your last, no matter how good you were.
Even so, is there some way it could be used to give the curse breakers an edge?
I think so, yeah. With this whetstone and the right kind of steel, I could probably even make a twin of the blade to rattle me. But there'd be no replacing this little rock once I worn it down to a sliver. I reckon we get a dozen swords from it, if that. Swords that the curse breakers wouldn't know how to wield properly, and that would see them through a single fire piece. Nah, no point trying to copy that thing. Be about as much use as a wax anvil. But finishing our blades with a whetstone this fine, now that's something to consider. And what's finer than fallen masonry, eh? Or more hard-wearing, for that matter. Just imagine it. Good Valisthean steel with an edge as sharp as any found in the Outer Isles. I won't make a copy, nah. I'll make something much better.
I'm sure the curse breakers will be delighted. Just don't push yourself too hard.
Don't you worry about me, sunshine. I've been working day and night since I was half your age, and I'll still be here when you're long gone. Hey, thanks, Clive. I mean it. I owe you one, August too. It's good to know someone's looking out for me.
You'll be happy to hear you said that.
And I'll see that my debt to you's paid. First new blade I make's got your name on it. You come and find me when you've got the materials.
All right. I will.
Auftrag abgeschlossen. Seines Glückes Schmied 2. Excalibur Bauplan. Eine Anleitung zum Schmieden eines Schwerts, das dem eines legendären Königs in nichts nachsteht. Excalibur ist ja auch so ein klassisches Final Fantasy, so eine klassische Final Fantasy Waffe. Excalibur Bauplan freigeschaltet. Wahrscheinlich habe ich sowieso noch nicht die... Oder? Habe ich das schon? Die Gegenstände dafür, die Materialien. Stärker plus 1. Jäger Hüfttuch. Jäger Armbinden. Stärken. So, naja gut, da fehlt noch was. Mannschwert. Platinschwert plus 1. Sturmruf, Flammenzunge. Blitzschlag. Felskeil.
Anything else?
So. Gehen wir mal dort hoch wieder. Trunks ist sehr unruhig. Trunks.
Is that the thing Tomes helped with?
Mid told me she was building a ship.
So.
Good. Still alive, I see. So Lady Karen accepted the ruby.
Ah, about that. I tried my best, but she was just too stubborn to take it. She threw it right back in my face, in fact, and told me I could stick my stupid stone where the sun don't shine.
Karen refused payment.
I hope it wasn't something I said.
I'm sure you were as tactful as ever. Let me see what I can do.
Oh, wonderful. I hope you have better luck than I did. Clive! Oh, this time Otto really will have my head. Assuming Lady Karen doesn't get me first. You watch yourself out there, all right?
Was ist denn hier? Der Topf Sunbreak. Ja, naja. Habe ich jetzt nicht so wirklich gefunden. Ist hier irgendwas Neues? Nee. Dann muss ich nochmal zu Karen gehen.
Lady Karen, Goad tells me you weren't happy with our offer. Would you prefer the debt was repaid in coin?
What debt? I don't recall lending any of you lot me hard-earned gil. I may have tossed a talent or two in the Hideaway's coffers, but those were donations, and you can hardly call it charity if you go asking for it back.
Of course not. But one good turn deserves another. And our circumstances have changed. Surely you wouldn't shun the gratitude of a pauper who happened to have become a prince.
Oh, so you're a prince now, are you? Fine. But I'm selling it and taking what I'm owed, then you're getting the rest whether you like it or not. Where'd you even get this? A decent trader might nab 1,000 talents for a star ruby. A canny one, meanwhile, might claim it were nicked from the belt of Sid the Outlaw himself and ask twice as much. Might be I already have a buyer in mind. Might be you even know her. A fine continental maid whose beauty's only eclipsed by a guile in commerce. You wouldn't mind, would you?
Not at all. Just be sure to tell her that it's always a pleasure doing business.
Aha.
I hear you ended up delivering all 3 stones. Thanks to this lump. I sometimes wonder what I pay you for.
Speaking of which, I still haven't been paid last month's wages.
Oh, so you remember what's owed to you then? Get your ass behind that disc of yours and don't get up before those ledgers are square.
Right away.
I've seen that before.
You have, yeah. Plenty of times. It was the only goblet Sid ever used. Either out of habit, or because the filthy sod couldn't be bothered to find a clean one.
I knew so little about him.
Like most people.
Martha and the Dame both seem to have fond memories of him.
I bet they do.
How long did you know Sid before he...
Before he died. 20 summers, give or take. Back in the day, I was a purser on a trade ship, which is where I met him. He bought passage to... I forget where. And having nothing better to do on the long nights, we set up drinking island rum till the morning bell dragged me back to my duties. Quit my post not long after that. On account of making a fine maiden's belly fat. But me and Sid stayed close, promising we'd one day sail the seas again. That was before fate stepped in and said she was having none of it. The magic woke inside my son soon after his first name day, and there was no hiding his knack.
Couldn't you and your family have...
My family were the ones who summoned the constable, wanted the monster taken away. I couldn't turn my back on him, forget what I felt, and I couldn't for the life of me understand how they could. Luckily, Sid was of the same mind as me. It was him who stood beside me when all I wanted was to tear the whole world down. Him who cried for me when I had no tears left of my own. Him who swore he'd do everything he could to stop it from happening again. And he was true to his word, too. Left the Royal Army once and for all. His ranks, his ribbons, gone. Just like that. Threw away everything he had. All to right a wrong that no one else had the courage to face. I knew then I'd follow that man to the ends of the earth. He was always too clever for his own good, was Sid. Saw the world for what it really was, while the rest of us were content to go along with the lie we were shown. And it can't have been easy, bearing that burden alone. But he didn't let it stop him. He never lost faith in what he believed was right. And that gave us faith in him. Faith he'd steer us true. So I swore to myself that I'd always be right behind him, ready to catch the stubborn sod, if ever he should fall. But I couldn't even do that. Ignore me. Just the ramblings of a tired old man. Leave that lot. I'll tidy it up in a bit.
This is Sid's handwriting. Dear Otto.
I may be drunk, but I wanted you to know this place would be fucked without you. I love you, you grumpy old sod.
This note.
Hmm? What about it?
Sid was right. Without you, we'd all be lost.
He should have bloody well said so then. Just once. Before he went. But then, why would he? Him, or anyone. I'd only have told him to piss off. You're wrong, though. Both of you. It was never just me keeping the hideaway afloat. It was all of us. I just shoved people in the right direction. I barely seem to be able to do that anymore.
Would you rather go at the helm?
Well, maybe I've got a few more years left in me.
I'm going to hold you to that, Otto.
Before you go, Sid would have wanted you to have this.
But that's...
This'll do me just fine. Thanks for the ray of sunshine. I'll see if I can't pay you back.
Already have.
Auftrag abgeschlossen. Puh, tja, das war nur eine Nebenaufgabe, ne? In Anführungszeichen nur. Sids Kelch. Sids Kelch, den er laut Otto nie gespült hat, obwohl er täglich ein Schlückchen Wein oder ein Bier daraus trank. Aber lass dir davon nicht den Durst verderben, Sid. Leute, macht die Nebenaufgaben in diesem Spiel. Und die sind wirklich fantastisch. Nicht alle, Logischerweise, aber viele.
I wasn't expecting you back so soon. Come to claim your just
715, okay, das ist noch eine Menge. Ja, da würde ich auch sagen, mit diesen Szenen beende ich diese Episode. Also schaltet wieder ein, wenn ihr sehen wollt, wie es weitergeht. Bis dahin, ciao!